and so is everyone else, because Sanjay's just said, with Mendy in goal, all I can see is clean sheets. And that's pretty much all we've had. And Goke said, Cech and Mendy have both come from Rennes. What a club. Keep giving us the keepers.
Just quickly on the team news, obviously Mendy starts. The big omission that people are obviously asking about on social media is Kai Havertz, and Frank Lampard has confirmed that Kai Havertz has tested positive for COVID-19, so he'll be undergoing a self-isolation period, and obviously we'll keep you up to date with that on the Fifth Stand and on Chelsea's Twitter and social media accounts as well. Exactly like you were saying there, Dan, about the hype and the excitement that I see for every time Edouard Mendy starts. And genuinely, when you scroll through the comments on the Fifth Stand, as soon as Mendy's name's mentioned, it's just Mendy, 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 Mendy all the way through. And that excitement, like you say, it's sometimes an unglamorous position that he is certainly being very much appreciated by the Chelsea fans already.
Yeah, I feel like the majority of the time when you speak about keepers, it's a hero or a villain kind of scenario. You don't really have just games like a midfielder does. You've either done something incredible to save the game, or you've cost your team some kind of point or goal or something. And he's had all positive news. It's been a breath of fresh air. I'm impressed. I really am.
Pat, let me ask you, as an attacking player, as someone that obviously, I'm doing you a disservice here, but for the sake of being stereotypical, that doesn't see too much action in your own penalty box. How much confidence does it give you at the other end of the pitch, knowing that he's at the back there? Because as a defender, you can see why the immediate implications and why that give you a boost. But as someone that sees it from afar, how much does that still give you a boost?
You know, it's actually a brilliant question, because it does something really quite odd. See, when you're unsure about your goalkeeper, the defenders, they just fall back 10 more yards. They just naturally just do it. They overcover a little bit, and that drags your midfield back out. And if you're a wide player who doesn't want to spend a lot of time in your own box, you're pulled back another 10 yards. So your starting position, just by that little bit of lack of confidence in your goalkeeper who's not at his best, and you're kind of covering from a wee bit, it just pulls the team back a bit and puts you slightly on your heels. Whereas if you've got a keeper you get complete belief in, you never look back there. You're not interested. You don't care. You don't worry. You just think, we'll be fine. He'll be all right. We'll not worry about him. The other thing, of course, he's quite good at, we've noticed a couple of times when the ball's going over the centre-backs, he's quite quick out of his box as well. Gives you another opportunity. The modern goalkeeper now has to be a sweeper as well. And he's quite quick at that. And he's got it right just about every single time that he's come out as well. That gives you another opportunity. Now, people talk about, a high line, your defenders going up. And they do that. But see, as a forward, you love that, because that means that you're another 20 yards, and it's 20 yards less A to run, but B to get to the goal, and probably fewer players to get by. So, yeah, it sounds like a simple question, but you're right, Joe. It's a cracker of a question. It makes one hell of a difference to every single player on the team.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate that, mate. I'm going to carry on then because you're being so nice. Mendy's obviously making a huge impact in goal, but another man that's been phenomenal since he's joined is obviously Ben Chilwell, who seems to have nailed down that left-back spot. And we've spoken at previous games because it seems to be a game-by-game basis that the one spot that may be up for grabs is that right-back spot, whether it's Cesar Azpilicueta or Reece James. Pat, he's gone for Reece James and Ben Chilwell tonight. How much of an addition do they give in terms of not only attacking, but defensively? They're both just superb so far this season.
Yeah, they are. And again, the both of them can defend. To be honest, you almost forget about how good Reece James is for one-on-ones. Now and again, he gets caught behind because he spends a lot of his time attacking. That's fine. That's part of the deal. We accept that if the ball's caught over the top and we need to go over and cover there, and that's what you've got people like N'Golo Kanté for, right? But what they add going forward in crossing, I've been very fortunate through my career. I've played with a lot of good centre forwards. And if they had the crossing ability of James, Chilwell, Ziyech, all swinging balls in there, that are world-class classes. They're all three of them are world-class at zipping a ball in there to impossible areas to defend. It's an absolute joy. So a big part of the fact that we've got those two full-backs playing tonight is the attack. I'm minded of it. You're at home, you expect to have more of the ball, you expect to be getting into those positions, you want to whip the ball in there. And they keep on saying, I might be proved wrong. It might not be Ziyech that puts that ball in for Werner to score. It might actually be Reece.
It's difficult to pick, Pat, because as you've said there's so many players that have that ability to deliver a set piece. And Dan, just continuing on that, because as Pat's pointed out there, not only do they give you a defensive structure, both of them are very physical and powerful defenders, but also going forward. And then from set pieces, we've seen Reece James take free kicks, we've seen Ben Chilwell take corners this season, and when you've got fullbacks that are essentially have the technical ability of midfielders and creative midfielders at that, you've all of a sudden you've got an extra weapon, haven't you?
Yeah, I feel like in Reece James and Ben Chilwell, we've got players that essentially we could probably put anywhere on the pitch and they'll be a good player. They are brilliant going forwards. The balls that they put in are just almost just straight into no man's land, and no one knows what to do with them. And if you're a striker, it's a dream for you. Defensively, very solid. No one's going to win, many one-on-one battles with them. I've been very impressed with Chilwell, the way he's settled into the team. It seems like he's just everything's water off a duck's back. It is Chelsea, and when you come to a team like this, sometimes it is a little bit intimidating, or now, you've got to step up another level and your decision-making comes into play and all of these things. And I haven't seen him put a foot wrong. Positionally, he's always in the right place, gives the ball in the right positions. I've been very, very impressed with him. And Reece James, like we all know what I think of him. We've got a phenomenal set of fullbacks going forward.
Absolutely, mate. Well, that is all from us for now. You can hear from the pre-match thoughts of Timo Werner now. We will see you in around 20 minutes' time.
Hi, Timo.
Hi.
I just wanted to know whether or not the start you made at Chelsea was even better than you would have thought when you arrived at the club, because you seem to have taken to English football and scoring goals like you have at every other level and every other place you play. And I just wondered whether or not you could just talk about when you came to England, whether you thought you obviously hoped, whether you thought you'd start as well as you have.
Yes, I think the first 10 games now for Chelsea were really good for me. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the British football or the football in the Premier League. It's like I thought before, it's different to the German football, because in the way we play, in the way how the strength is in the league. And but I'm very happy until now. It makes a lot of fun to play here. It makes a lot of fun to play with the guys. We have a good team. I think you saw now that when everybody is fit and gets fit and come out of quarantine and come out of injuries, and we play and train now since 2 months together, you see that we become a very good team. We know the ways from each other. We learn it much more than 2 weeks ago, and I think for me it makes a lot of fun to be here. It makes a lot of fun to play my first games, and when it will go on like this, the next games would be perfect.
Let's go to Ian Bolton.
Hi Timo. Do you feel comfortable in English football? Do you feel at home in English football?
Yes, of course. At the beginning, it's always when you come to a new country, to come in a new league, to come to a different style of football. It's always something different. But now I think I'm here in the league. I know how to play. I know what ways are better for my game, are better for my team, are better for my teammates, and I feel very comfortable now, and I hope it will go on like this.
John Cross.
Hi Timo. I was just going to ask you. You've obviously played in the Champions League before with your former club. You know what it takes to reach later rounds and drive on to be successful in this competition. Does Chelsea have the sort of squad and the depth of players to go deep into this competition? Do you feel they're well suited for a good European campaign this year?
I hope so. I think the time now is every team who plays international play every 3 days, and I think not only we as a team. I think only every team who plays in the Champions League or in the European League and plays on Saturday and Wednesday, Saturday. It's difficult, but I think we have a big squad. We have a really big squad of good players. That's not normal. I think we have so many players and so many good players, and I think with this we have the goal to come very far in this competition, and I think we are not here to say, okay, we want to come in the next round and then we will see. No, we are here to win in the next year the Champions League, and this year is also a good chance because everybody in the competition has a lot of games this year, and every team have to think about how can I manage it, who can I play, how many games can a player play one game after one game. And for me, I think we had a good chance this year, but also in the next years. And I'm, like I said when I arrived here, I want to come here to win titles, and of course we also want to win titles this year, and we are on a good way. Like we learn from each other, like we learn how we play together, and when we can get on this, we have a good chance to come very far in this competition.
Let's go to Molly.
Hi Timo, I know you're one of a number of new faces at the club. Obviously Edouard Mendy's come in. I just wondered what he's been like as a teammate. How has he settled in? Because I think Frank said he's quite a laid-back personality.
Of course. I think until now, Edu is a really nice guy. You can talk really easy to him. He's really calm, and makes a lot of fun to play with him. And on the other side, I think we have a lot of French-speaking player in our team who plays now a long time here, and can help him very much. Like for me, is for Antonio, who can speak German and plays a long time here in the club. So I think it's easy for him to come in the club, because at the first we have a lot of players who speak French, but on the other side, I think the team is very, very easy to come in. There are a lot of young guys which are very, very nice and calm, that you can settle in very well and very fast.
Let's go to our French colleague.
Hi, what do you think of this team of Rennes?
I think Rennes is a very good team. They have a lot of talented players, a lot of good players, and they the style how they play. Also last year in the French league, but also now the first games in the competition, they do very well. Of course, it's not easy to play against Sevilla, but I think when you lose 1-0 against a very good Sevilla team, you have a very good team, and it would be very hard for us to win tomorrow, but we are strong enough to beat every team in the world, and so we play at home and we want to win the game tomorrow.
Let's go to Nazar.
Hi Timo, do you ever get tired, because you played almost every game for Chelsea so far? So I was wondering, are you tired? You came in at the weekend as well when you were maybe going to have a rest, and I wondered which game you learned the most from as well.
Of course. Some days I'm tired because of the much games I played now, but I do it as well last year. So I think these days it's normal to play so much games. Of course, every player needs a rest one day, but I think in this case sometimes the national break come to the right point. So that's also good sometimes to rest there. But at the end, I think it's good to play every game, and I have a lot of fun to play every game. So that's no problem for me. And the game I learned most it's hard to say, because we play against so many different teams. We play against two very good teams in the Premier League, for example, against United and Liverpool, but also the teams from the half of the table below. It's so hard to play because they have so many good players as well in their teams, and they have a lot of good managers who have a tactic who makes us very difficult to score. So every game is a good game for me to learn, because especially when you come in in a new country, in a new league. You have to learn every game, and for me, so far, that I learned a lot in every game.
Let's go to Simon.
Hi Timo, excuse me. Speaking about learning, you know Kai obviously very, very well. How do you think he's adapting to the Premier League? Are you sensing he's getting stronger and stronger with each game, and how much have we still to see from him and what he can produce on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think I know Kai very well, and I think he's one of the most talented player in the whole world. I think he's a young boy with 21 who can learn a lot, but already play like a very, very old and how do you say?
Wise.
Yeah, the player, and I think until now I think he feel very well here. He's a little bit like me. We talk a lot about settling in, and he's very happy to be here. And I think also in a lot of games he showed what his strength is, what he can bring into the team. And for Kai it's very important to score, but I think how you can see in his games, he's much more than scoring goals as a midfield player. He plays a lot of key passes, he plays a lot of movements he makes for other players, and he's very talented and so good until now. And I think he will get better and better every game. He's the same like me. He come also in a new country, new language, new style of football, and he have to learn as well. But I think until now he played so very, very good, and we will see a lot of more good games from him.
Let's finish with Matt Nash.
Hi Timo.
Hello.
You came to London back in February with a very good Leipzig team. Obviously scored the winner at Spurs. Was that a big night for you? And do you have happy memories of that Champions League run that you had last season?
Of course, it was not for me, it was for the whole team. In February it was the first time to play in a eighth final in the Champions League. So it was something really special, and in a really, I'm allowed to say, a really beautiful stadium. In a full stadium, when you look on these times, it's something we miss very, very much, and it was something really special, because we win the game. We want to win the game, but we want to have fun, and the game was so much fun because it was a game like both teams want to win, but it was an open game. Nobody was scared to attack. And that's the games I love to play, because that's the way I like, or how I see football. That both teams want to win, both teams attack, and it was a lot of fun. The month ago.
Not just myself, but all the managers, particularly managers who are competing in European football at the moment, and finding that this is a really heavy schedule of games. So we do need options, and in attacking areas we have options. We're also searching for relationships, because some of the newer players are learning about each other and how we want to play. So I've got no problem with the options at the minute, and the players have to understand that when you play every 3 days consistently up until Christmas and beyond, then there will be some rotations at times, and we need everybody.
You substitute for Chelsea is Willy Caballero, Antonio Rudiger.
Good
Goal scorer for Chelsea, number 11, Timo Werner.
Been a tough week. We knew that going into it. 3 difficult away travels, you know, and the Russia trip to navigate the preparation, the recovery for this game has been taxing. Fortunately, we could bring in some fresh legs. I think we saw that in the team today in the performance. And generally, I just thought we approached the game really well. It's a really difficult place to come here. You know, you have to deal with a lot of physical side of the game, deal with balls into your box, but we never really looked under pressure at any stage. And the biggest thing for me was their personality and play on the ball. Could see some of the things we work on coming together, so I was really happy.
It was a tough week this week. I think 3 away games. So yeah, it was a lot of travelling, a lot of flights. Yeah, flight up here as well. So yeah, it was. We didn't really have much time to kind of recover after games. But today I thought it was brilliant. What we did on the ball at the beginning of the game, winning the fight, winning the battle, matching them up, and then we knew what we could do on the ball. And I thought we did that brilliantly, and yeah, it showed in the scoreline.
Looks like it's going to be Siri Verm, who got it over the wall and off the post. And where's the rebound going? Oh, Havertz took one straight in the face. She's okay, but how close was this from Siri Verm? Spears almost ahead. Clever from G. Here's Harder. Neville got ahead to it. Danger's not passed for Spurs quite yet, though. Eriksson had stayed forward. Hooked it back for Millie Bright. Lovely take. What a hit as well. And it's a good save from Becky Spencer, who saw it late. Well, we know Bright is capable of the spectacular. Terrific setup. Eriksson. Chelsea still looking for the breakthrough. Spurs hoping to pinch one. And there's Ayan, and Berger's backpedaling. Well, she'll tell you that she had that covered, but just for a moment, her heart was beating quickly. Eriksson. Nice switch again, left to right. Chelsea been good at that tonight. This is loopholes. Erin Cuthbert, she's going to have a go, and Spencer couldn't keep it out, and finally the Blues make the breakthrough. They've been knocking on the door, and finally it's swung open. And Erin Cuthbert scores again. What a start to the season she's having. Neville pushing forward a lot more now as Spurs look for an equaliser. It's not a bad cross. Oh, what a save from Berger. Might be the first one she's had to make all night. It was outstanding from the German in the Chelsea goal. Good approach play from Spurs. England. Chelsea might feel they need a second just to make sure. Here's Sophie Ingle. Oh, that looked like handball from Keris Harrop. And the referee agrees, and Chelsea will get the chance to wrap it up from 12 yards. No doubt about that decision. Oh, with Mjelde off the pitch, it's going to be loopholes. Oh, just about. Spencer got fingers to it and would have hoped to have kept it out, having done so, but there was just enough power. In from Thorsdottir. Chance for a third here. Oh, great save from Spencer to deny England. And it stays at 2-0 to Chelsea.
The group stage reaches the midway point tonight in the Champions League. A good result for the Blues will put them on the right path to qualification. Kick-off not too far away now either. Chelsea versus Rennes. Let's get into your starting 11 for tonight then for the Blues. Edouard Mendy in goal for Chelsea tonight. A back four of Reece James, Kurt Zouma, Thiago Silva and Ben Chilwell. Jorginho captains the side alongside N'Golo Kanté. Hakim Ziyech, Mason Mount, Timo Werner and Tammy Abraham lead in the line tonight. On the bench, Willy Caballero, got Zigo, Rudiger, Alonso, Christensen, Tomori, Kovacic, Giroud, Hudson-Odoi, Azpilicueta and Emerson. busy bench because it's Champions League pattern. There could be 5 substitutes, but just carrying on from that, mate. We're gonna there's a few players that are obviously stand out. A few players that may have not been involved tonight. Obviously, one is Kai Havertz. He is tested positive for COVID-19 and will undergo a period of self-isolation. All the other players have been tested. They are continuously tested and have come back negative. So it's only Kai at the moment, and we'll obviously keep you updated with that. Any updates we've got will be on Chelsea's Twitter account on the Fifth Stand app as well. Let's go into our one to watch for tonight then. Pat, I know you want to talk about this man because he's been sensational recently, but Mason Mount, how good was he?
Do you know, it's the weirdest thing. I have no idea yet what his best position is. And we've been watching him for a while. And that is a really good thing to be able to say. That if you need somebody to do a really good job in about 4 different positions during a game, that's the big thing. During a game, if you want to adapt to the system, you need somebody to sit in front of the back 4 along in a 2, or somebody to play left wing or left midfield or a 10. Yeah, that's fine. He'll do them all. That's fine. And really, that is extra special. But, you know, when he had that thing where if he's out the game and he's not in the team and he's not starting, you give it another chance again, right in there, actually controlling games. And that is an amazing thing for A, such a young guy to do, but B, when you've been left out with all these kind of world-renowned stars, and he just walks in and he's one of them.
Absolutely, mate. And Dan, like Pat's pointed out there, the versatility that Mason Mount has showed, you know, we know that he's got bags of energy and it will give his absolute all, and his quality on the ball has always been standout. But now is I suppose his maturity and his willingness to do any job for the team has become apparent and evident.
Definitely. I feel like he's a manager's dream because you know exactly what you're going to get from him. You're going to get a solid performance. You're going to get a willing runner. You're going to get somebody with decision-making that he probably shouldn't even have at this age. He is quality and he's playing years and years beyond himself. I'm really excited to see what he becomes because I'm assuming this isn't the best of Mason Mount. We'll see that one in a few years, but if he's this good now, who knows how good he's going to become.
Absolutely. Pat, I think we have to reference it because, you know, Gareth Southgate obviously rates him very highly. He scored a winner for England in the last international break. Frank Lampard rates him very highly. And I know that genuinely we could do an 1.5-hour programme on Mason Mount, and I'll try and find new ways to tell you how good he is because I think he's phenomenal. But he doesn't get the credit he deserves. And some people are quite critical of Mason, and I think completely unfoundly and unjustly. But what does Mason need to do to win those rounds, or is he never going to do that? Because I can't think of anything more that he can do.
No, I've known quite a few players over the years that have had that thing against them. And it's usually not them. It's usually the fact that somebody else is in a position where they'd rather have that person in for a variety of reasons. Like they might think, oh, we want Kai Havertz in there because he's scoring more goals or whatever. Now, in actual fact, you forget what else he does. I mean, the ugly stuff that he does. He does it. He does it, you know, without a complaint. You know, if he's asked to sit back a little bit. And I was a wee bit frustrated. You remember when he burst onto the scene? He was, honestly, he had everything. He was arriving. He was a mini Frank. You know, he was arriving, scoring goals, and it looked amazing. And then it stopped happening for a while. And people go, no, why are you not doing it? I'm saying, well, he's changed position. We've moved him a wee bit further back. It's not his problem. It's not his fault. He's doing exactly what he's been told to do in a slightly different system. And it's upsetting when people don't quite see that that's what he's doing, because we've all been there at times where we need to sacrifice ourselves for another part of the system, another part of the team. So I think he's a little bit of a victim of that more than anything else. But the big thing about him is 2 things. Going on, everyone will figure it out. It's okay. Don't worry, Mason. Don't worry, Chelsea. Don't worry, Frank. Everyone will get it that, yeah, he does an amazing job for the club in a variety of different places. Number 2, any club would want him. The reason being, whatever he would cost, and by the way, England want him to for the same reasons, whatever it costs, you're buying 4 players. And that's good value, by the way, if you can buy 4 players, because that's what he is. He can get that many jobs done for you. So, you know, he will have moments, you know, there will be the odd complaint. He won't worry about it, and we won't worry about it, because we know he's going to be superb for us for many years to come.
Pat, that comparison is spot on as well, because I remember there's a very famous clip of some fans questioning why Harry Redknapp was giving Frank Lampard opportunities as a young player, and he turned out all right as well, didn't he? So, yeah, we'll move on from that. Playing alongside Mason Mount tonight is Hakim Ziyech. It's been a little bit of a slow start for him at Chelsea due to injury, but now he's fully fit, and boy, is he firing. Pat's been assessing his influence on recent games.
In terms of new Chelsea players this season, Hakim Ziyech could well have been the last off the rank. However, he's been the cab worth waiting for. This sort of cross that he did against Brighton in pre-season, we knew all about it. We watched him do it against us. And that is almost impossible to defend. Absolutely superb ball in there. Had a little bit of an injury, but when he came back, he has absolutely flown off the rank. And this goal here against Krasnodar, the calmness with 3 defenders and a keeper around him, tells me he is a top player. So was it a fluke that he put in that sort of cross? No. Once again, you can't defend that. Defenders hate it, but forwards love it. And even Ben Chilwell, who's not bad at crossing himself, he liked it too. But it's that calmness inside the box that adds them to the list of our players who can actually score for us this season. Super shot there, keeper wrong-footed there, absolutely brilliant. But what he adds that no one else adds is this cuteness, this ability to see a pass against a really tight defence. Look at that. Fabregas would have been delighted with that ball there. Didn't finish it, but that's something we've needed to add over the last season or so. But this is my favourite moment. A millisecond later or sooner, that ball doesn't get through to Timo Werner. It is perfection. It is a work of art. He is some player, and we're going to love watching him at Stamford Bridge.
He's so good, isn't he, Dan? Hakim Ziyech is so good, and also I think we've all said this, that he was probably the one that, because we've had longest to get excited about him, the one we've been keen to see over the last couple of weeks, and now he is fit, and now he is playing, like Pat's been pointing out there. He has so many different strings to his bow, doesn't he?
Yeah. Also, I think there's a touch of magic that everyone falls in love with. Everyone loves a bit of a Cruyff turn and a drop of the shoulder. And when a player is so known for having that in his locker, it just makes watching him just that little bit nicer. So, yes, I love bringing in Thiago Silva and all the centre-backs and every midfielder. But when you do get a flamboyant winger, there is just something quite special about it.
Left footer as well. We've said this on the show before. Left footers look better. Always look better. I don't know what it is. It brings us actually nicely onto our hot topic 3 for tonight, which is relationships on the pitch, because we've seen that Ziyech and Werner link up in the pre-season friendly immediately happen against Brighton, didn't it? For Ziyech over the top. And Pat, you've been referencing potentially we might see that again tonight. Ziyech cutting in from the right and Werner tucking in from the left-hand side. That is a relationship that if we can see clicking, my word, we've got an exciting couple of months ahead.
And this is actually the slight problem. It's a great problem to have. I don't know which is the best one you should aim for to work. Because I'm looking at, I look at sometimes fullbacks and wide players. And I'm looking at Chilwell out there with Pulisic to some degree if he's there. But whoever's out there, they can have a brilliant working relationship. And then in the right-hand side, you've got Reece James or Aspie. But Reece James, you can imagine he'll have a great relationship with Callum, with Ziyech, with any number of players. You can actually look at them, and the amount of relationships that could actually happen within that group are huge. And it's difficult to know which ones are going to change from being really good understanding to phenomenal, to no one can stop them. And it can be any of them just now, because they're all adapting, they're all changing, they're all moving on just now. And at the moment, I'd love to throw in one and tell you what is the one that's going to work. It's not clear yet. It really isn't clear yet. But I'm looking forward to finding out which ones it is. I kind of suspect that eventually you're going to get a Havertz-Werner one that's going to be pretty special, purely because of, the background they've got.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Pat, so, Pat, when you played, who did you have the best relationship on the pitch with?
Well, down at Chelsea, to be honest, I played a lot with Kerry Dixon and David Speedy. And David Speedy and I had an astonishingly good relationship on the field. And an astonishingly bad one off the field. We just didn't get on at all. But, you worked with different players. I had a good understanding of Gary Dixon. But in reality, see, if you're a away player, it's actually generally your fullback. So in my time at Chelsea, it was Stevie Clarke more than anyone else. Because with Clarkey, him and I understood each other completely. He would overlap, he would underlap. He was an intelligent player, he had good pace. we drag players. And that's why I mentioned there, when you're asking about who had link-ups, I immediately start moving towards wingers and fullbacks. Because when you get that working right, it's extraordinary. It's actually bordering on unstoppable, because if you've got 2 and against 2 and you've got good relationship, you feel as if you've got them outnumbered 42 because you know what each other are doing. So that certainly was, the time at Chelsea, Clark and I had a brilliant relationship.
Great coach as well, isn't he? Great coach. I like him a lot, yeah. Dan, we see a couple of partnerships starting to flourish. Obviously, we mentioned the Ziyech and Werner one, but one I think over the last couple of weeks that look formidable is Kurt Zouma and Thiago Silva. And again, Kurt's got we're saying he's a goal scorer as well now, and but playing alongside Thiago, he'll learn a lot, and that relationship really seems to have flourished.
It seemed. Do you know what? It looked like on paper it would work, and I know that doesn't always, come to fruition, but it really has. It's become almost a thing of, Beauty and the Beast. And it really does just one sweeps, one attacks the ball. It works. It works really, really well. And we've looked really, really secure since having that as kind of our main 2 at the back with Benjamin Mendy behind them. Oh, sorry, not Benjamin Mendy. He doesn't play.
Edouard.
Edouard, yeah, Mendy. Yeah, too many Mendys.
Well, mate, again, you're absolutely spot on. That relationship is flourishing. We clearly see the bond between the players, not only on the pitch, but off the pitch is happening. And that's vital to any team's success. It's something the manager knows a little bit about from his playing days, as he discusses that in Ask Frank.
Focusing on the pitch recently, have you seen sort of partnerships developing, relationships developing, especially in the final third?
Yeah, well, I think so, and I keep talking about it, and it's clear to me. There will be to bring in the players that were brought in and expect it to happen straight away, and it's just not sense. It's no sense in that. It's the work that we have to do to try and understand the way we want to play. The players that were here last year, we lost some players who were effective for us in forward areas, but notably Willian and Pedro. So we have to try and work, talk, play the games, reflect, look to the next one. And it's very normal, and the good thing about the game in Russia was that we saw some nice relationships, saw individual players. I saw that, and that's the process that we're in. We have to be a bit patient. We want to get there quickly, but it's where we're at. And I was pleased with Russia that we saw those relationships start to grow, continue to grow.
It's interesting you use the word sort of the fact that they have to talk to each other as well. But it was something we saw against Southampton. I think Jorginho and Timo had a quick chat, and Timo was talking about the runs he was making, and within minutes, Jorginho had picked him out and he'd scored that goal.
It's a huge thing, I think, and I'm big on it in my role, because people wouldn't expect as a coach you can have different types that want to dictate every move that you make on the pitch. But in the modern day, the players have to have ownership of that. And we talk a lot, work a lot. I'm very open with the players. If they feel things back from me, I want to speak to them and see what they feel, because they have to go and deliver. I know the responsibility comes back to me, but they have to go and deliver. So the more they talk, the more that I sort of promote that they talk and have those relationships. Where do you want the ball? When do you want it there? How do you want it? Those are massive things for the team. Massive things for the team, and they don't come overnight necessarily, but I certainly want that to promote that, and we need to do that even more, because the teams I may have played in, it's easy to look back with a really great feeling about it, but those things had to be worked on, the relationships within the squads that I play with, and that's football, that's how it is.
I wanted to focus on the relationship you have with a certain Didier Drogba, because it seemed almost telepathic at times. Did it come naturally?
No, it came with work. It became, we were good friends, and we became best of friends. We didn't go out that much together, but we had a really good relationship off the pitch. And exactly my last answer, if you're playing that before this one, is what happened. We spoke a lot. We spoke a lot in training. Didier, we used to talk about, and I've watched them now and looking at the old days, which is a sad thing to say.
Can't say old days.
You could know, or the recent, just gone days of some balls that I played over the top one touch for Didier. It was a pass I loved, and it was a pass that whenever I felt I was getting a ball that could go in one touch, I knew Didier would run, and we would talk about it and the timing of it and exactly where he wanted it, and the defender on the weekend that he felt would get sucked into the first movement and we could go in behind. And we talked about it a lot, and it's not just I did that for Didier, he did it for me, and vice versa. He knew I liked to arrive, so the more we talked in training, things went wrong, we worked together, we used to stay outside a lot. That's football. It takes work and it takes relationships. You cannot do anything on your own, so we have to build those relationships now all over the team.
It's really interesting you say about those conversations you had prior to games, because there was an example last year that Olivier Giroud and Christian Pulisic caught on camera in the tunnel, and Olivier was sort of dictating where he wanted the ball, and so it was almost mapping it out ahead of its time.
Yeah, I can't always control that, Lee. That needs to be a good thing that comes from within us, with players and with personalities. As I say, they're on the pitch, so I try and set, a framework. We work on things as a group. I love that. I love that when players take the initiative and say, where are you going to be? What am I going to do? That's great. It's nice for me when I see a pretty pattern that I might have imagined or we trained on. But it's just as nice when you see players come up with things from between themselves, because that means the group's growing.
Pat, Frank talks about that link up between him and Drogba. That was a pretty special link up, to be fair. We've been blessed with those over the years, but that is up there.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. And the number of goals they scored and worked with each other, and sometimes it wasn't even necessarily the passing to each other; it's the running and creating space for each other. Because if you have that much knowledge of football, just when one player runs one way, you run into the space that he develops. And remember, the big thing about Didier, if you had two players marking them, that wasn't enough. Nowhere near enough. You needed three. And if three players weren't marking one guy, then it's going to leave a lot of space elsewhere. So that really helped Frank as well. But yeah, they had a great understanding, and it's as good as you'd find anywhere. And it's really handy when you've got it right up that end of the pitch.
Absolutely. Dan, what's been your favourite Chelsea partnership? I mean, there's been some frightening ones over the years, but have you got any that stand out?
You know what? I really, really loved the Johnson-Hasselbank one. But I also loved the Fabregas-Costa one. I've loved them all. I've got this thing about relationships. I feel like once you get that with someone on the pitch, just make them the best man at your wedding, and it's beautiful.
You're all about that on and off, that synergy. You want them to live together like Ant and Dec, didn't you?
Yeah.
Pat, like Dan said, though, I mean, he's come out with the ace card there, because Hasselbank and Johnson just amazing. But I mean, I was trying to think of some more as well. Terry Carvalho's one, but Terry and Cahill's also one. Then you could probably say Terry and Ashley Cole when he played on the left-hand side as well. John Terry and anyone, to be honest, it's got to be in the conversation. But defensively, we've had a good few over the years. We've alluded to already. You could get to that level at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, those ones, because quite often you need a younger guy and an older guy. Someone's got a little bit of nous working with somebody else who's just learning the game, and that always helps a little bit as well. And also, it's the personalities. Sometimes, actually, oddly enough, it's people who don't get on very well. Just have to work each other and compliment each other. I'm going to throw in an unusual combination to you here that I loved for a period of time, and it was three of them. I think it was a period when we had Oscar playing with Willian, playing with Hazard, and they worked off each other, and there was 1-2s and back flicks, and we kind of almost took it for granted for a period of time, but it was exceptional. There was nothing anyone could do about it when they were working with each other and playing those little link balls, and it really was telepathic, and I loved watching that. Didn't always work all the time. There was periods when we played all three of them just as a front three, as the three little guys front three. But when they were midfield, intricate play together, sometimes they just made the entire teams look stupid.
We have been so spoilt. We really, really have, haven't we? Let's recap Chelsea team for tonight then. The challenge of Rennes in the Champions League. Edouard Mendy in goal. Reece James, Kurt Zuma, Thiago Silva and Ben Chilwell. Captain Jorginho, N'Golo Kanté, Hakim Ziyech, Mason Mount, Timo Werner and Tammy Abraham. On the bench for Chelsea tonight, Caballero, Ziga, Rudiger, Alonso, Christensen, Tomori, Kovacic, Giroud, Hudson-Odoi, Azpilicueta and Emerson as well. Dan, we're only a couple of minutes away from kickoff now. We're all very excited to see that front four, but where do you think that the key matchup's going to be tonight? Is it a Kanté? Is it a Jorginho? Is it defensively? Where do we need to be most aware?
I'm not actually that sure, just because I'm not seeing most of the recognised names that I thought I'd see in that Rennes team. So I'm actually not entirely sure who their ace in the hole is, who's their danger man. I think because of that, I would be setting out Chelsea to do what we do best, and I would try and just get the Timo Werner and Hazard, and Mount can create a relationship with absolutely anyone, and Ziyech. We've got so many players that can hurt them. So I'm not too worried about what they're doing. I just want us to have a good performance and do what Chelsea do best.
Well, it's time nearly. Next up, live commentary from Stamford Bridge in the company of Matt Davies-Adams and Pat Nevin.
and welcome to our coverage of this Matchday 3 game in the UEFA Champions League from Group E. It is Chelsea versus Rennes. We can hear the familiar strains of the Champions League anthem echoing, and I mean echoing, around a practically empty Stamford Bridge. The two teams out lining up for the traditional pre-match presentation. I'm Matt Davis-Adams, Pat Nevins alongside me for commentary of this game. Chelsea top of Group E, 4 points from 4 matches so far. Rennes just 1 point from their 2 games thus far, so a crucial game for them tonight. But for Chelsea, the chance to, well, almost put 1 foot in the knockout stages once again. It is a mild November evening, perfect conditions for football, one would think, as the players remove their presentation jackets. Good time to get you up to date with the team. The only notable absentees from the Chelsea lineup are Kai Havertz, who's tested positive for COVID-19 and is thus isolating, and Christian Pulisic, whose slight hamstring strain means he's not involved tonight. Edouard Mendy is the goalkeeper, playing against his old club. Back four, Reece James, Thiago Silva, Kurt Zuma and Ben Chilwell. Jorginho captains the side. He's alongside N'Golo Kanté. Then it's Hakim Ziyech, Mason Mount, Timo Werner and Tammy Abraham leading the line. Rennes have Alfred Gomi in goal, back four of Traore, De Silva, Aguer and Dalbert. Then a midfield three of Burigo, Nzonzi and Lasilki, with Gaboho and Terrier either side of Guirassy. They've got big injury problems at the moment, the visitors. Eduardo Camavinga, the 17-year-old, making so many headlines across Europe, unavailable tonight, and the on-loan Juventus defender Daniel Ruggiani also unavailable, as is their striker Mbaye Niang, who would be first choice. It's a tough ask for them on paper, Pat, the visitors from France, but this double-header on Matchday 3 and 4 always seems to be pivotal in Champions League groups, and you feel if Chelsea can get 6 points, then that might be enough to secure knockout stage football again.
I'm pretty sure it will be enough if they get 6 points. I mean, even 4 points wouldn't be the end of the world, really, but certainly this is the one you want to win. You want to go and if we could get a really good quick start and get a goal within the first 20-25 minutes, because you know what it's like sometimes in Champions League nights, and this is a team that are actually, they defend well. I mean, they've got a good back line. I mean, I like the two defenders, Aguerd and De Silva. They are good players, so it's not going to be a walk in the park, but an early goal would make a big difference.
It depends if you're a glass half full or half empty Rennes supporter, really, as we see the players and officials take a knee before the game. Rennes won for the first time in 6 in all competitions on Saturday, their big derby as well against Brest. But they've only been beaten once in the league all season, but beaten in Spain 1-0. Narrow game against Sevilla last week. It means, hopefully, that they will come here with some ambition to attack at some point, although, Pat, I'm guessing not immediately, as we get ready for kick-off, with Rennes starting the game going towards the Matthew Harding stand in the first half.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know much about Gohogbo, who's playing on the right-hand side. Youngster, I think he's about 19. So when a new kid coming in, he's played a few games, maybe about just under 20 games or so for them. But keep an eye on him as well, because that's a big call for them.
Yeah, but out of necessity, really. He is one of the academy products, and Julien Stéphan, who is the Rennes coach, actually was the under-19 and the B-team coach as well, so he's very into bringing players through from the youth system, which is something that we're used to these days, of course, as well. And as I say that, Mason Mount flicks the ball out, delicate flick out to the left side, and Chilwell on halfway. Infield from him to Abraham, laid off first time to Mount and Werner again. There's Jorginho now. I guess the answer of who plays through the middle for Chelsea was helped greatly by the fact that Pulisic isn't available, and Werner is the natural option to go out there, which means Tammy keeps his place in attack. Yeah,
and he's got that adaptability with so many players who can play so many different positions. Certainly looking at, I know Mason Mount can play all over the place, but Werner can, Kai Havertz can move, Ziyech himself can move and play different positions. I'm really looking forward to one thing more than anything else, our crossing from right and left tonight. We have got wonderful crosses of the ball from both